Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I'm Gemma Collins, 34 years old, founder of a wellness startup, and for most of my life, the designated fixer in my family. I've always been the one to remember the insurance details, book last-minute flights for medical emergencies, send flowers on behalf of my parents when they forget birthdays. I was the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who never asked for anything back. My younger sister, Ember Collins, 30, beautiful, magnetic, effortlessly adored, has never held that title. Since childhood, Ember has been the golden one, spontaneous, dramatic, and indulged by our parents, especially our mother, Lorna. While I stayed up nights helping Dad manage bills when he lost his job, Ember threw tantrums over dress colors for school dances. She coasted on charm, always rescued at the last second, usually by me. So when she got engaged to Caleb Marks, a corporate finance manager from Napa, I did what I always do. I stepped up. Ember had big dreams. A lakeside wedding, string quartet, fine dining, champagne towers, a vintage Rolls Royce, and no plan to pay for any of it. Caleb's parents offered a modest contribution. Our parents said they were emotionally supportive, which was code for broke. That left me. I covered the venue deposit, $19,000. Then came catering, photography, rentals. Every time Ember sobbed about something not being perfect, I fixed it. I wrote check after check. The final tally? Just under $79,000. I told myself it was love, that this was what family did. That Ember would one day look at me and truly see me. Instead, 2 weeks before the wedding, I received a text. Not even from Ember, from our mother. The text blinked on my screen like a slap. You're not invited. Ember doesn't want you there. You've made it about yourself. I stared at the screen, blinking, my throat suddenly dry. I called her immediately. Mom, what the hell is this? Her voice was stiff. It's for the best, Gemma. Ember's had enough stress, and frankly, you've inserted yourself a bit too much. I paid for everything, Mom. I saved this wedding. Well, she huffed, money isn't everything. You've been overbearing. And Ember feels it's better if you just let this day be about her. I couldn't breathe. Then Ember herself called. Her voice was honeyed and cold. You're making things uncomfortable, Gem. You always have to control everything. Ember. I said slowly, you wouldn't have this without me. Silence. Then the line clicked dead. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even reply. The text from Mom blinked on my screen like the final slap. You're not invited. Ember doesn't want you there. You've made it about yourself. I stared at it for 10 minutes, then opened my laptop. My hands moved before my mind could. First, the venue. I called, voice steady. Bride has requested cancellation. I'm the financial guarantor. Please process the refund to the original card. Click. Next was catering. Yes. I understand there's a deposit forfeiture. Please send the cancellation confirmation by 3 p.m. today. I was polite, impeccable, cold. The florist tried to argue. You can't just cancel a week before. I can, I said calmly, because I paid. Not Ember. Not my mother. Me. I deleted the shared planning folder. Removed myself from group chats. Changed every login. I didn't warn them. I owed them nothing. That afternoon, Ember called me for the first time in 2 weeks. On the 4th attempt, I picked up. Her voice was sharp. What the hell are you doing? Correcting a mistake, I said flatly. You're ruining my wedding. I let out a breath. You uninvited me from it, Ember. You dragged my name through mud to Caleb's family. You let Mom call me unstable. Silence. Then a brittle. It wasn't personal. That's the problem. It never is for you. But it always costs me. I hung up. By nightfall, I'd refunded over $48,000. What couldn't be recovered, I counted as tuition for a lesson I should have learned a decade ago. Then I opened a blank tab, searched Quiet Rentals Lake Tahoe, and booked a cedarwood cabin for a month. No signal. No noise. I packed 3 bags, locked my apartment, and drove. No notes. No warnings. If they wanted a perfect day, they'd have to ghost me back. The first morning at the cabin, I woke up disoriented. No phone buzzing, no Ember. No deadlines, just wind filtering through pine trees in silence so thick, it pressed against my ribs. I made coffee on the old gas stove, sat on the porch, and opened a leather-bound journal I hadn't touched in years. On the first page, I wrote, "My life has been one long apology I never owed." The words stunned me. Every favor I'd done, every emergency I'd solved, every time I swallowed frustration, each one an apology. For being too driven, too plain next to Ember, too intense for my mother's taste. That night, I flipped through old texts, Ember's messages full of urgent requests and manipulative sweetness. "Can you Venmo the florist? I'm in a bind. Mom says we should let Steph handle decor, you're just too rigid sometimes." My chest tightened, but I didn't cry. I'd done that already. Instead, I wrote back to Ember, "You didn't break me, you clarified me." Then I blocked her. On the third day, Mom's number rang through from a private line. I let it go to voicemail. Later, I played it back. Her voice, brittle as frost. "You've embarrassed this family. You're sick. I knew you weren't stable enough to support Ember long-term." I pressed delete. Then, for the first time in 34 years, I said out loud, "I don't need to fix this." The release was physical. That evening, I walked along the lake until the stars emerged. I felt small, but for once, not invisible. Just present. In the journal, I scribbled the words I'd never said. "I am not responsible for who Ember decided to become." And beneath it, "I am done apologizing for who I've always been." That night, I slept without dreams, and in the silence, something shifted. The girl who built her life around other people's chaos, she was gone. It started with a table, unfinished cedar, dusty, neglected behind the cabin. I found it the morning after a storm, half buried in pine needles, one leg splintered. Most would have walked past it, but I couldn't. I dragged it to the porch, sanded it for hours until my arms shook, patched the cracks, sealed it under the sun. Each scrape of the sandpaper felt like shedding an old skin. That evening, I lit candles and placed mismatched plates I'd found in a thrift shop. No centerpiece, no rules. Just a table, built back into purpose, like me. 3 days later, I invited Sierra, the hiking guide I'd met on a trail, and her partner Joe. Then Eli, the grocery clerk who offered to help carry firewood. By Saturday, there were 6 of us. Laughing, sharing food, no one asking what I'd brought to deserve my seat. "You made all this yourself?" Joe asked, running her hand along the table edge. I smiled. "It used to be broken." "So did I," Sierra added softly, raising her glass. We clinked glasses and let that truth sit between us like a blessing. Later, as we cleared plates, Eli pulled me aside. "You don't talk much about your family." I met his gaze. "That's because I'm still unlearning the idea that I have to earn love to keep it." He nodded slowly. "I hope this," he gestured to the table, "the warm light, the people, feels like enough." "It's more than enough," I whispered. About 3 months passed, and one night, as the wind picked up across the lake, I retrieved an old envelope tucked between my journal pages. The one Ember sent weeks ago, soft at the edges, still unopened. I stared at it under the porch light. Then I dropped it into the fire. I wasn't interested in her version of redemption. I had mine now, and it came with no strings. The flames rose, cracked, and faded. So did my past. Weeks passed. The cabin had become more than a refuge. It was a reclamation. One evening, I hosted a small dinner. Candles flickered, rain tapped softly on the windows, and laughter curled around the cedar walls. Eli sat beside me, passing a bowl of roasted squash. Across the table, Sierra retold a hiking story so wild we were all in tears from laughing. I had never felt so full, and yet so light. Later, as we cleared dishes, my phone buzzed. A new number. A single text. "I hope you're proud of what you've done. Ember's marriage lasted 2 months. She cries every day. Maybe now you're happy." No name, but I didn't need one. My mother had a signature tone, guilt laced with venom. I stared at the screen, then slowly placed the phone face down. Eli watched me. "You okay?" he asked quietly. I nodded. "She thinks this was revenge, and it wasn't." I smiled faintly. "No. It was repair." We stepped outside into the crisp Tahoe night. Stars hung low and heavy, and I could hear the lake breathing in the dark. I thought of the old dining room back home, where I had once set the table, fetched the wine, served the cake, and sat on the edge, waiting to be acknowledged. No more. I didn't burn the bridge, I said aloud. They bulldozed it years ago. I just stopped swimming across the wreckage. Eli didn't answer. He just gently took my hand. Inside, the table gleamed in warm light. 6 seats. Mismatched, imperfect, full. Not one of them borrowed, not one of them begged for. Just mine, built by my hands, held by my boundaries, honored by my presence.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.